Hello, everyone, and welcome to once again another episode of the Off the Rails podcast. I am your host, Gregory, and today we have me, myself, and I. Sadly, I did have some guests prepared and scheduled, and ready to go, but there was a snowstorm this weekend, and that made it a bit tough to go anywhere. I couldn't even go to the gym, which was pretty tough, honestly. But so today it's going to be a bit of a shorter episode as the usual when I do any solos. Last week was the longest. This might be one of the shortest. I simply wanted to be consistent and at least upload an episode this week, and it's not going to be something like it's forced. It's actually something that I really would like to discuss, which is usually the case. I am a big talker, so very rarely am I going to find a moment where I don't have anything to talk about. And today, the really quick topic is going to be just how social media has affected our social culture. And I know I've touched bases with this specific subject a couple of times before with other people in it, but not maybe exactly to this extent. So, what I mean by it's how social media has affected our social culture. There definitely have been some benefits to it, right? We're now able to communicate with people long distances, and we're able to meet them, make new friends, and even date them. Some people have even gotten married through the internet, and I think that's really cool. So there's definitely been a lot of positive social impacts that social media has brought. But I think what I would like to focus on today are the negative aspects of social media in terms of social culture, especially here in the United States of America, where I currently reside. And don't get me wrong, I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be an American. But there's definitely a big difference between here and Brazil. And I say this a lot to a lot of people at work and a lot of people in general, and they usually say, here he goes again, just talking about Brazil. But it's just so uncannily sad how different these two cultures are. Like, I think it's great to have different cultures and backgrounds and stuff. I think that's awesome. But there's definitely some things that are different in one culture than the other that are definitely a bit sad because there didn't have to be that much of a gap. And what I mean by that is in Brazil, and you can ask many Brazilians that, or if you ever met or hang out with some of them, you may realize that Brazilians are much more social on average than your average American is. And in Brazil, it's much more normal to approach strangers just in general, right? And here is a bit more complicated. If it's a guy and guy situation, it's easier. If it's a guy and girl, it's almost taboo. Like, we guys have to really thread the needle because there's definitely some bad seeds, some bad apples out there that ruin it for, I would like to believe, most other guys that are, I believe, at least decent people that wouldn't, flip out on someone just because they got rejected. I think part of life is accepting rejection. And yes, even though it may hurt, I don't think it's worth doing anything further than that. If the person does not see you like that, they don't see you like that. There's at least 3 billion other people out there, and you just gotta move on and accept that it's not personal. It's the same way, like if someone that you did not like try to ask you out, I would hope that you would kindly reject them. And that's kind of the same thing, like you have to try to put yourself in their shoes. I don't think anyone should date someone who they don't like, or they don't feel comfortable dating, depending on how you ask them, how you met them, and what the situation is. And as what I believe that I am, a good guy, it's definitely tough to even talk to people, mostly girls, of course, strangers that you don't work with or you don't interact a lot with. mainly because I mainly worry that I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, because I am not someone that can hold back on my, I'm really extroverted, really excited. I can come off really strong and too strong for some people, where they think, they may immediately think, well, what's this guy after? Even though, I want to just get to know someone, not even like a romantic basis. Like, it doesn't need to get there. Like, I have I think my only best friends so far in my life have all been females. I think overall I've done much better with females compared to men. Um, I was raised by a woman, so maybe that has something to do with it. I was raised by two, three, at least three women overall in my household. And I was taken care mostly by them while my grandfather was working almost every single day, every hour of every single day. So maybe that is why. But I'm also not the kind of person who, like, I think for a decent part, boys like to bash on each other and other people as well, more often than girls. I know girls can be very judgmental as well, but I don't know. I don't know. I just like when it's the good of one or the good of the other, but definitely mostly prefer hanging out with girls. Um, I just overall, like I said, I've been friends with them, best friends with them. Some people don't even believe that you can be just friends with a girl. I definitely think you do. When they when they when they're taken or something like that, or to an extent they start dating someone, I try to distance myself a little bit from them, not entirely, but I try to give the guy that they're seeing respect, the same respect that I would like to be given if it was the other way. Not that I would be upset if the person I was dating was talking to guys, like friends, but the kind of person that I am, I like to talk a lot, to text a lot, and to hang out quite a decent bit, play games online, and this and that. And it can definitely be a lot for some people, especially if they're have other priorities in their life, which is fine. But that's what I personally like to do. Uh, and just respect, even if the guy tells me he's comfortable, it's more of a me thing than anything else. But anyway, yes. So pretty much it's just uh, the fact that, like, social media has gotten us so used to being able to text people, right, from far away, not having to go and chat to most people face to face. You can just go to Instagram, Facebook. You can just stalk them or whatever. You can message them. You can slide into their DMs, as some people say. Like their photos, see what they're up to, this and that. And even though, like, the fact that you can text them and message someone that you might be interested in without having to approach them might seem nice, there's the fact that it's that convenient to do it, that to the point that it has taken a decent bit of the social aspect of just approaching people, the old-fashioned way. Anytime I am, I have some of these questions. Many people that are, they tell me, back in my day, we would just go up to people and just talk to them. And yes, don't get me wrong, there are creeps on both sides, boys, the man's side and the woman's side. I definitely think there are more creeps overall on the men's side. Um, and that's, and I think those can be more extreme, more aggressive, and more dangerous than the woman one. Not saying the woman cannot be dangerous, but I just think overall, statistically speaking, men can definitely take the majority on that. But yeah, I just think it has the negative aspect is that people have gotten on a culture that it's already not that social. People have gotten even less social, and then you know, uh, people get depressed, they get lonely because like someone like me, like I don't anything that's not my style, I wouldn't feel comfortable. And when you're not comfortable, it can make the other person feel comfortable, and it's a whole thing. But my style is more the aggressive approach, and not even like aggressive, like angry or like demeaning or anything. Aggressive as in, like, I'm straightforward, I'm to the point, I'm like really extroverted, like a lot of energy. I can definitely make a lot of people uncomfortable just by being genuinely me, which I think is I believe to be a genuinely good person. But just like a lot of energy and like a lot of some people would so many people have said a lot to handle sometimes, and I am fine with it. I take that as a compliment. But for some people, I can definitely make them feel uncomfortable, intimidated, and threatened even as well. And I think that's just, really sad, because there are probably people like that out there as well that don't mean any harm, just want to get to know the person. But it's tough, it's tough when you try to do something and then you might get seen as like a creep just because you did something genuine. It sucks. And, some girls might even struggle with that too. I'm not saying it's just the guys, but I think, once again, I think statistically speaking, once again, guys most definitely struggle more to approach women than the opposite, for sure. Especially when you were expected to be the first one to make a move or something like that, or even to just start a conversation. With all that pressure of being seen as a creep or just having a really awkward conversation or situation and atmosphere in the end, especially if it's something like a workplace or something that you commonly go to, like a party, church, gym, things like that. So that's why I've toned down a little bit on my socializing, my social butterfly mode, because it's just it's not healthy, which is sad. It's not healthy to just try to be genuine and then just be being given that look like I'm the weird guy, like the guy that's actually trying to do something genuine, trying to socialize with you, even other guys as well. And then that can kind of put a toll on you. So I just try to assess the situation a little bit better before even attempting to make small talk. But yeah, just the fact that you can just text people online, just like scroll through Instagram, Facebook, and you can text anyone that you want, and you're on your phone. You don't have to socialize if you don't want to, or even if you want to, you can just ignore it and just use your phone to distract yourself from even wanting to talk with someone. And I believe humans are social creatures, like we're, allegedly, scientifically speaking, we're descendants from the chimpanzees, which are also, or monkeys in general, which are also very social creatures. We are very social creatures. Some scientists even say that we should not be alone. That like a human being alone for too long is really bad for our health, mentally, and eventually physically as well. Like for me, like I strive in social environments, but there's definitely some social environments that can be toxic. But if it's at least a decent social environment, I think that's where I strive at. It's kind of like if you put a tiger in the ocean, and then you say like, oh, well, and here I thought the tiger was an apex predator when he actually seems to be struggling in the water. And you can say that obviously in a way you're right, but that's not where the tiger's supposed to be. Like if you put like a shark in the land and then you're like, well, the shark is not doing really well, he cannot really walk on land, struggles to get food, dies in 10 seconds. Not really an apex predator, I think. And once again, you can say that, and the things they said are true, except for the last one. He is an apex predator on his own environment. If you put a shark on the water, you you're not gonna have enough breath to be able to say anything that you said before about him when he or she was on land. And if you put a tiger on the jungle, you may not even be able to see him to judge him before he's already feasting on your flesh. So yeah, it's all about like if you put someone on the right environment, they can really strive in just many ways. And I feel like expecting humans to, like if you see all the stats that came out that Instagram apparently knew how bad, the app can be for mainly girls in terms of their confidence in their own bodies. You can see that it clearly has an effect on even your confidence. And the less confident you are, the less likely you might be to even try to approach someone. The less likely you are to believe that you're worth you're worth like someone's time, and that can just create this whole cycle where it just breaks you over and over again, more and more and more. And I think it's just unfair and definitely ridiculous for anyone, or if anyone has ever assumed that a human being could survive in such an environment where socializing is not really seen as something normal, I think that's absurd. Like, like the same thing with the tiger in the jungle. If you put something, if you or a tiger in the ocean, if you put an animal that's not meant to be there on that environment, on that environment, it's not going to strive, and it's going to struggle, and it may eventually die. And somewhat that can be said to humans, as I was saying. You shouldn't expect humans to be able to thrive in an environment that's not that doesn't really support socializing the ways that I believe humans were, like we were used to, and we were kind of genetically made to. Like face to face, or at least that's the way that I like it. And it also has that. Um, it definitely has something to do as well with rejection, like or accepting it. And like the less confident you are, the less likely you are to be able to the less likely you are to be able to take a criticism well. And the less likely you are to be able to take a criticism or rejection well, the less likely you are to ever try again, and that will even crush your confidence even more. you know and I feel like there should be many more programs, or just things to support the idea, that socializing is fine, it's normal, to teach kids how to deal with rejection. Believing that To help them believe that just because someone doesn't see their worth, or someone doesn't like them, that does not mean that they are unlikable and unworthy of anyone else. It just means that that person specifically, maybe like you can miss it, like most people. Most people may not like you or find you attractive in one way or another, but that doesn't mean that no one will. Um, and you just gotta keep believing that. You just gotta try it, and it's gonna be a bitch. It's gonna hurt. You might feel like crying, like giving up, like never trying again, like you're worthless, like you're not worthy of talking to someone of that high standard. The person that you're building in your head, while when you haven't even talked when you haven't even talked to them yet, which is also an unhealthy habit that even I still share with many of you to this day. But it's definitely something that I would like to improve on, and hopefully change in the future. So such things, such moments don't really happen anymore. And I've definitely been getting better. It's a process. You shouldn't expect yourself to be good at first try. Like, forgive yourself if you stutter, if you allow yourself to stop speaking, to forget your words. That's normal. But you gotta forgive yourself and remember that you can try again. And you know, if anything, try to come up with the best excuse possible that you're not being able to, like, making any new friends or anything like that. Like, go out there and try. Not with everyone, because not everyone is worth your time. Some people will just play with your time and waste it. But if you can at least try, if you can at least give a genuine try, feel the atmosphere, try to feel the person out, and see if they can be worth a shot, go ahead. But always remember that you should be your own priority. You should put yourself above others, not because you're better or because you're worse, but because to you should always be your own main priority. And if you're worried about your looks or personality, think about it this way, right? If we were on a planet where the beauty standard was having, I don't know, 3 years, or beauty standard was, yeah, let's go with 3 years. 3 years. And you were there, like your average, let's say I don't know, like someone like Brad Pitt went there. Brad Pitt would be seen as hideous, as ugly, as different, as someone that doesn't fit in, hideous creature that that shouldn't be there. And the lesson and the point that I'm trying to make is that beauty is indeed on the eyes of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I've learned that it's true, because beauty is a subjective thing. There's not necessarily a rule or a law that defines exactly what beauty is or isn't. as we have seen throughout history, the beauty standards have changed. And some even say, oh, it's an improvement from back then, but not exactly. It's different. It might be an improvement to some or for some, but it is different overall. It is literally and factually different for good chunks of it, right? So, yeah, like maybe your beauty may not be able to be seen by everyone here, but I believe that there might be someone out there for you that might see it in you. You know, you have to make you the beauty standard. And there's a chance that no one else in the world will agree that you should be the beauty standard for anything ever. But that's the thing, like not only does that show their own insecurities and their lack of acknowledging their own beauties and looks, but it also kind of just shows you the overall society that we're living in, to the point where someone would just judge you for trying to be somewhat confident in yourself. And yeah, just ignore the masses, because most of them are just following what the trend, or where the trend goes, and try to make yourself your own beauty standard. Because like I said, many people will try to tell you that you should never be that you don't have the beauty to be a beauty standard for anything ever. But that's just them. You cannot let them win, because if you agree with them and not with yourself, you are living for them, not for yourself. It is hard as all fuck. It is so hard. It's been hard for me. I've not gotten there yet, but I'm getting there every day. And like I said, people will laugh at you if you even say this, that you are your own beauty standard, but you should be. Maybe there's a world out there where you are literally the most beautiful person. Like if they come here to visit this planet, they will say that you're the most beautiful person in the world, and like in the whole planet. Because once again, beauty is subjective to everyone. Like some people that I find attractive. Excuse me, I just sneezed. Some people that you may find attractive, other people will not find attractive. For example, many people find Rihanna, J-Lo, and Beyonce to be beautiful people. And another sneeze, come here. Good Lord. Okay. As I was saying, well, many people may find Beyonce, Rihanna, and J-Lo to be beautiful. It's not that I don't find them beautiful, but I don't find them attractive at all. Sorry. I don't find them attractive. Like, I'm not attracted to them. Like, they're not ugly. Like, to me, the word ugly doesn't exist, because ugly is applying that everyone thinks that way. And many people will still use that to try to hurt you even more. But to me, there's attractive and not attractive. Because, like I said, I'm trying to speak as if, not as if, because I am knowledgeable of the fact that beauty is subjective and literally on the eye of the beholder. So, lost my train of thought for a second. Hold on. So yeah, I don't find them attractive, but many people do. I find some people attractive, but many people that I will say, "Are you, dude? Really? The person's like this or that." I try to like grade them, but I think the person's like gorgeous. It literally depends. Like it, and if you really doubt me, try doing this experiment. Like, I don't know, try to ask someone, like, find some celebrities or something like that, or people that might already be on the public eye, and ask if one of your friends might find she or him attractive, or go on social media and see how many people don't find that person attractive. I've known people, like I have someone close to me that does not think that like being super ripped is attractive. That is actually an attractive feature. That's too much muscle. They say that is like, it doesn't look healthy and it looks ugly even. Some people don't think that people have like uh, bodybuilder physique that are attractive at all. Like, they may be hot because of the muscles, but not necessarily attractive to them. So like I said, like the fact that society has been trying to put this standard of beauty probably to sell makeup products and things like that, making people even more insecure, therefore making them even more money, since they'll be looking to improve their looks because of the society that they helped shape, and what the society sees as they have shaped to to consider a or what's considered what the society that they have helped or they have manipulated to a point considers to be pretty or attractive. So I think that all of these things have played a huge role and have been drastically influenced by social media, sadly for the worst. You can definitely find a lot of motivation in social media, Instagram, and places like that. But with motivation, you might be discouraged because some people do use steroids, some people don't, but many people sadly do. And you might find unrealistic body goals. Even when someone is an actor that doesn't use steroids, you have to remember that they're getting paid to work out. Imagine you if instead of working like a 9 to 5, you were getting paid to work out. Not saying it's easy, but you're getting paid to do it. Almost every day you're getting paid to do it. You have someone that is helping you prep meals or to prep your meals for specific amounts of calories, protein, fat, carbs, all this and that. So yeah, it can be pretty tough out there for many people, especially youngsters whose brains are still developing and are like a sponge that would just suck in information, and definitely way easier to manipulate and to install something in which many grown-ups will see it as complete BS and obvious BS, because they're still, like I said, they're still young, their brain is developing, and anything new that they learn, they might just accept it as true if so many people are saying it and believing it as well, which has also been a pretty big thing with social media, because you can see other people's ideas, their comments, their posts, and if you're young and you're thinking, oh, if everyone believes that, if my classmates are saying it, if my crush is saying it, then it must be true. And then as they get older and they may not learn for the best, that might get stuck to their brain so much that it may get to a point that it will be pretty harsh and extremely difficult to change from there. So yeah, it's just really sad. It's like it's a whole cycle of insecurities and being, some people not being raised to respect women or men, right? And then the bad apples, or the bad two bad apples will ruin the bunch and make things even worse for the good apples that are out there, which you may believe or may not believe even exist for both men and women, but I sure do. And listen, if you're being genuine and you really like someone and they reject you and you're mad, I understand being mad, annoyed, disappointed, sad. That's normal. But don't come screaming at them, because if you really like that person, you wouldn't force them to do anything that they don't want to or feel anything that they don't feel, because it's kind of the same way of like people that said that they love someone and yet they treat them badly. It's like, if you love them, you wouldn't treat them badly. And let's say that the person leaves you or they break up with you, or like I said, they reject you, and you get mad at them because you did something, you did all this for them, and they own you, uh they they owe you, and they should be with you because of this. You don't deserve them, because if you were doing that genuinely, you wouldn't be expecting anything back. Now, of course, if you do a lot for them and they don't even appreciate it, then that's your cue to leave them. If someone's not going to appreciate your efforts, stop. You're wasting it on them. And you may not believe that there's someone out there who might appreciate efforts, but you may be wrong. I've been proven wrong a couple of times, and I believe that so can you. But if you keep settling for people that are not going to appreciate your efforts, don't be surprised when, or don't be mad at them when there was writing on the wall the whole time. And of course, it's fine. It's okay. It's right to feel upset, angry at them. Doing so much for someone and they don't do anything back or appreciate anything back hurts. But if you're expecting something back, that's the only reason why you're doing it. Stop. They don't owe you anything. If they didn't ask for it, or even if they did, you willingly did it. So they don't owe you anything. They don't owe you a relationship just because you were nice to them every day. If you were nice to them every day and they're not appreciating it, or they are and then they reject you, you should grow up and deal with it. Men and women. Don't expect people to just worship you just because you were nice to them. That's extremely toxic. Extremely toxic. If you were genuine, you would, be hurt, disappointed, sad, maybe a little depressed, but you wouldn't be mad at them because of all the things you did for them. You showed them who you are, or I hope who you are, and they saw who you are. They see you physically, they see your character, and they don't find that attractive enough to the point where they would want to date you. And that's fine, because think about it. If the opposite was true, if you were in their shoes and a girl that you don't find attractive either physically or mentally, for example, for me, it has to be both. So if it was only one or the other, I would try to respectfully reject them, And there's also a right way to reject people as well, by the way, folks. There's a bad rejection where you make them feel bad and awful and ugly and insecure and disgusting. That's a whole different story. But if you know how to reject people, you say, I appreciate your feelings. Thank you very much. It really, it means a lot, but, try to mean your words. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I don't feel the same way for you. That's it. Just playing honestly, trying to be nice, trying to be kind, respect their feelings, appreciate their feelings, because there are many people out there who would love to be told that, someone's in love with them, which could even, potentially save their lives even. That's how, sadly, that's how some people have right now, and in the past, and sadly in the future as well. So no matter if you get even 100, like if 100 people ask you out on a day in like the course of a month, even if they're doing like in a weird bad way, try to at least like inside your head appreciate that, because many people, like I said, many people out there don't even get it. Sure, many people, like I said, will try just to ask you out just to have sex and, leading you on. Because if they want to just have sex and they tell you that and then you agree, that's, one thing. But if they are just trying to play the game along just to get that out of you, completely different. Like I said, there's nothing that I will say that it's gonna fit everyone's perspective and ideas of what is right to say, and like nothing that I will say will completely embrace every single possibility and alternative. But I hope that you folks can understand that, because I don't think anyone would be able to do that unless they're trying to make an extremely long conversation out of just like one main sentence. That could be way shorter if they just accepted the fact that people just need to ask questions if they're confused on exactly what people mean, and a bit more understandable to the fact that you cannot always, like when you say something, it may not apply to everyone or in every single scenario. It's never usually 100%. But anyway, if there's like some nice people that you've been asked out by and that you kind of rejected them and things did at least decent, try to at least be glad that those people even felt that for you. Because like I said, many people would love for that to happen to them. And don't feel bad, rejecting people that you don't really feel connected with. Sure, it might be scary if the person is creepy or scary, but if it's none of those situations, just reject them. Don't play with their feelings anymore. Don't do it out of pity, because I personally would try to never do that, because I personally hate pity myself, and I don't try to pity anyone else because I don't like the feeling of being pitied on. So Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to episode 6 of the Off the Rails podcast. I'm your host, Gregory, and thank you very much for listening. By the way, if anyone here has ever played Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, or 3, or all of them, or 2 of them, the 4th one is coming out. Yes, you've heard that correctly. I was on YouTube a bit ago, and I watched the trailer for the alleged 4th one that is coming out with all new characters and with the super storyline as well. So if you're a Dragon Ball fan, please rejoice. Head to YouTube. I'm not joking, yeah. It should be there on Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi trailer. I am extremely excited for it. When I saw it, I got off my chair and I started punching the air really hard and really fast. I'm pretty pumped for it. Besides that, please read the description down below. If you have any questions or comments, please write them down, type them down. If you're listening on Spotify, you should be able to possibly write a review somewhere. And if you do, you can ask some questions. You can go to our website and check them out as well. We have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, a YouTube channel where you can leave comments, questions, things like that, and you may even have a good chance of having your your question or comment being discussed briefly on a episode of the Off the Rails podcast. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Thank you very much for your patience. We will be having many more guests soon if things do go as planned. Appreciate everyone listening. It really does mean a lot. I really was a bit hesitant on starting this, but people have been really supportive of it. Coworkers, friends, family, and I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me. I would not be able to do this, as well without you giving me the views. Even if you don't like it, thank you for at least trying. I do appreciate the effort a lot, and I do love and respect honesty. So once again, thank you very much for listening to episode 6 of the Off the Rails podcast. I'm your host, Gregory. Thank you for listening, and we will talk soon. Have a nice day, have a nice night, have a nice evening, and good night.